Welcome to Season Chasers. I'm Rob Freeman. Those that love nature and outdoor sports spend a lot of quality time looking for adventure throughout the year. The more you study, the more you learn about the peak seasons in nature. It's fun to know when it's best to go fishing or hunting, when it's time to pick blueberries, wild mushrooms, or native pecans. Sometimes the peak season is close to home, right in your own backyard, or it could be miles away near the mountains and the sea. Either way, this program will chase the seasons where the action is hot.
All of today's outdoor adventures were captured real close to home. We've got spring turkey with my longtime hunting buddy George Burns from Arma. Plus, we're chasing spoonbill down in Oklahoma, and some of what we bring in is as big as these kids. Then it's deer action right behind my house in southeast Kansas on Season Chasers, where we study, learn, and share the great outdoors. 100% real.
And take a look at this long gun. It's John Sports Center's Gun of the Week. Some mornings during turkey season, I'm up before dawn, delivering turkey hunters to a remote setup out here at Pawnee. This spot is a pretty long walk off the nearest country road, and most people like to ride out here to the box blind near the corn feeder. I'm hoping the roosting turkey think of this ATV as the breakfast wagon and not even realize that a hunter or two are left behind in the box blind. It's barely light enough to film, but it's mornings like this when the woods come alive with all sorts of birds, including a parade of jakes. Now, I wasn't targeting a jake on this outing, and I never did bother to count them. The jakes that were juveniles this past April will be first-year toms this spring, and the feeding spot proves that we got a lot of them. In the turkey world, there's a definite pecking order of rank. The more dominant birds get the prime feeding spots first. Later, when a bunch of small blackbirds stop by, the jakes form a solid line keep these little guys from the corn. And looks like it works. Feeding spots like this are no guarantees for success during turkey season, but most guests out here in the box blind get to see a lot of turkeys, even if they're not the shooter birds. One morning, some of my favorite hunting buddies were in the box blind,
And I got a call from them about a tom down.
So you got a few jakes right off?
Yeah, 2 jakes come in. They stayed out there for quite a while. Then the 2 hens left. They went back down this way. They come in from over to our left, but they went back down this way. Then the jakes stayed out there for quite a while, and then they went off, circled clear around, and come back in over here behind us. We watched them for a long time. Well, before that, 4 more hens come in, wasn't it, Georgie? Mm-hmm. There was a total of 6 hens and 2 jakes. And then these 2 jakes here come back in. They went out there, started eating again, and the feeder went off. When the feeder went off, it scared them, and they took off running and went back down in here and went back in the timber. So we sat there for a little bit longer, and we got to thinking, well, nothing else is going to come in. I said, Jordan, let's give them a little bit longer. And I was just putting my binoculars in the case, and I looked off out that right window, and there was a turkey standing there. So I motioned to Georgie, and he looked out there, and he said, that's a tom. About that time, 2 more come out right behind him. They headed for the feeder, and I got my gun and headed out the window there waiting for him. And when he come across over there, 2 of them got real spooky and act like they was going to take off, and the other one was just standing there. So I went ahead and dropped him right in his tracks. He just, well, didn't drop him in his tracks. He flip-flopped out like they always do, but he made several flip-flops and come right over to where we was sitting almost before he fell over and before we got a hold of him. But I hit him good.
So he started running right toward you?
Yeah, he come flopping right across. See where all the feathers are? That's where he come across there. He flopped right over here in front of us and started jumping up and down. I told Georgie, I said, you better grab him, because sometimes them things that make you get up and get on their feet and get going again. But I knew I hit him hard, because I really hit him when he had his head right out in a perfect position.
So what were you thinking about when they first popped up over there?
What was I thinking about? I was thinking about it being a big tom. That's the first thing I was looking for, was a decent sized beard, because I was almost hesitant to shoot one of them jakes earlier. And Georgia said, oh, you got till the end of the month, don't shoot a jake yet. So I said, okay, I'll wait. I told him after, when they circled and went back in there, I said, if they come back out here again, I'm going to shoot one of them. So I thought that's what it was. I thought it was them jakes coming back out until I seen their beard. Then the first one was there by himself, and wasn't just a matter of a few seconds, 2 more come out right behind him. So I told Georgie, I said, it looks like the last one's got the biggest beard, and I'll wait on him. So I waited until he got out there where it was a decent place to shoot at him, and so then that's when I shot.
Well, good job. And this is the same place where Heidi got hers last week, wasn't it? Or last time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same place.
They're in here, that's for sure.
Well, that's the first tom taken out of here, so
yeah.
Good job, George.
Well, I know there's 2 more. There was 2 more with him. So there's got to be a couple more in here. They come in from, I just told Georgie, I said, I can't understand nothing coming in from down this way. Everything come in from over here, and then them come in. They come right out of them bushes, right?
On
right
the other
there.
side.
Right on the other side of them bushes.
Did you get to hear any gobbling this morning?
First
He heard them over here, but
Yep, straight over there.
That's where they're roosting in there, and it takes
Yep.
them a little while to get here.
Yep. They sound like they went west when they first got off the roots, but
he flopped so much he knocked all the hide off his wings.
A new spring favorite of season chasers is spoonbill fishing in Oklahoma at Grand Lake of the Cherokees. This is Jason Ward, and he's the ornery rascal that got me hooked on this sport this past spring.
Where's the biting bag?
He's a big one.
Biting bag.
In the spring, we target the upper part of the lake, where the giant paddlefish gather in large numbers during their spawning period. This is the biggest freshwater action that I know of.
I don't think he's quite ready yet.
what it is.
Not a bad way to spend a spring day, bringing in the paddlefish at Oklahoma's Grand Lake.
Another big old pig.
Study, learn, and share the great outdoors. Later, we took a trip with my neighbor John Snyder and got to see him land his first spoonbill and get to turn it into the Paddlefish Research Center officials that are right out on Grand Lake.
We're going over there. Way to go. Hang on, here we go.
We flagged down a boat from the Conservation Department's Paddlefish Research Center. They tag in John's fish, they harvest the eggs, and give John back the boneless fillets. It's a win-win program during the spoonbill season down in Oklahoma.
Flopping that tail pretty good. Just go ahead and try to cut the bands around his tail.
Before this past spring season was over, John was able to get out in several outings in his boat. He took along his two boys and his nephew. And here's a couple that they brought in right at the end of the season. Good going, boys. For the spring season this year, Jason got the big one in our group, 68.5 pounds. Whitetail deer in the backyard, coming up on Season Chasers.
Extreme environments can cause a spontaneous change in DNA, resulting in unexpected power and agility. Introducing the all-new, all-powerful Gator RSX 850i. 62 horsepower, a fully independent multi-link suspension, and a top speed of 53 miles per hour. It's a whole new species of gator.
It's Chick Days at Blue Ribbon Farm and Home in Pittsburgh. All the chicken supplies you need to get started. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to feed the wild birds. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to plant a beautiful garden. Seeds, plants, fertilizer, and weed control for your lawn.
Don't forget Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has a huge selection of food for dogs.
Whether you have a lap dog, a sport dog, chickens, or a goofy goat, Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has all the feeds you'll ever need.
You talk about a goofy goat, and this is the goofy goat right here.
It's time to make plans for summer salmon fishing in Alaska. I'll be personally guiding groups in August for 4-day adventures in Alaska's bush country. It's just 50 miles from Anchorage. We also offer 1-day flyouts for cruise ship visitors. Get away from the crowds. There's no combat fishing out here. Also available, trophy northern pike. If it's time to put you in this picture, show up with a big appetite and be ready for a taste of the Alaska outdoor life. Call right away for reservations and information. We'll save a seat for you.
It's time once again for the Gun of the Week. And John Sports Center today has the gun counter out at a special event.
We are at the Claythorne Lodge in southeast Kansas for the 2014 U.S. Open Sporting Clay Championship.
And you're from CZ Arms, and what do you have for this kind of activity?
Well, yeah, this is a great gun for anybody that's interested in competing in small bore shooting. This is our CZ Super Scroll. It's a 30-inch barreled 20-28 combo. You can see it's nicely engraved. It's all hand engraved.
Oh,
this
beautiful.
gun comes in a nice aluminum Americase. Mechanical triggers, manual, not an automatic safety. Just a fine piece, beautiful piece of wood, and they all look like this is a great specimen of this particular model. This is
A lot of
yeah, you
generation.
look pretty good in the field with this, that's for sure. And it's something that you can't wear out, that's for sure. It's something to be proud to own. And it's a 2-barrel set with 2 forearms. So I mean, it's a complete small bore machine.
So you say one of them is the 20 gauge, the other's the 28 gauge?
That's right.
Well, I know I shoot the 28 gauge now and then. It's one of my favorites. And having that capability to go from one to the other is
Very versatile.
very,
You know,
very nice.
And it's a 30-inch gun. A lot of small bore guns kind of feel light, kind of whippy. This has that full-size gun feel.
Now, Dave, this is one of the tallest guns I've ever seen. What's this for?
You know, I was thinking this is the U.S. Open, so it's go big or go home. You know, go big or go home.
Wow. Now,
This is kind of a little gimmick gun. It's just something I have fun with. It's a 712. It's a 712 target with a Hastings Metro barrel, Nordic tubes coupled together. It holds 28 shotgun shells.
wow, more than a box of shells goes into this.
And it's heavy.
And it really weighs a lot when you got big lead in here.
It's 14
Wow.
pounds when you get it all filled up.
Now, how long does it take to unload that?
You gotta get the right
My
weight.
nephew
minutes.
loved that if he seen me
5
duck
minutes.
hunting when limits 3 shells.
Here, Dave, look this way. Here, that's what dark this way.
It takes 5 minutes.
Now, is it really good on snow geese, huh?
It'd be all right on snow geese.
Super.
We're fortunate to have John Sports Center here at this event. They have several CZ products on sale. Lots of other amazing equipment there in his tent for sale as well. So yeah, get out here and check this place out.
CZ Shotguns, the gun of the week, here from John Sports Center. And thanks for joining us. Really appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Good job. If you'd like more information on the gun of the week or any of the other guns in stock, or for special orders, stop by John Sports Center at 18th and Broadway in Pittsburgh for more information. And tune in to Season Chasers next week for next week's Gun of the Week from John Sports Center.
Season is fall, and it's mid-November, and we're out here chasing white-tailed deer in southeast Kansas. And normally, I've been a rifle hunter in Kansas. I'm not much of a bow hunter, but this year I've been able to get out early during the archery season, during November, with a crossbow, and that's legal in Kansas now. And the reason I'm set up down here is because we found some signs of some buck activity. And prior to the rut that's pretty much going on now, most of the bucks in this area find a tree and rub on it, rub the velvet off their antler, sharpen them up a little bit. And sometimes it's a smaller tree, but here's a pretty violent example of that. And some bucks, or at least one buck's been in here just tearing it up. And you can see today I'm not using much camo during this hunt because we're hunting from this box over here. And with the box blind, you just looking out at the top, and so you wear some dark clothing. And I haven't had any trouble getting deer in close. Haven't just really gotten the shot that I want to take yet, but still some season left, and we're going to keep you up to date on what we encounter as we study, learn, and share the great outdoors. Season Chasers, 100% real. This deer hunt is entirely filmed on the 160 acres right behind the farmhouse where I stay when I'm in Kansas. This is Bourbon County in southeast Kansas, and we've been seeing lots and lots of deer. Everybody who hunts for deer tries to do everything possible to make the deer visit their hunting spots during the open deer season. Here are some November game cam shots. This is courtesy of Troy and Preston, who were visiting from the state of Michigan. We know the deer are out there, so we set the homemade box blind for an archery or crossbow hunt during the month of November. During the mid-November Kansas deer rut, We get to see a lot more deer activity than during the post-rut gun season in December. Seeing them up close and getting them in bow range are two difficult tasks about any time of year. These are some of the deer that we saw in November, and most of them were just outside of crossbow range. As the Kansas deer season turns from archery to firearms, it's time to move the box blind to an area that has more open view of the creek. On my first morning of the gun season this year, the weather was unusually warm and it was really foggy. The TV weather forecasters were already warning of an extended cold snap with possible snow, and somehow I was really motivated to try to fill my tag on opening day in the 50s instead of the single-digit conditions surely headed our way. When you miss a shot like that, you hope there aren't a lot of witnesses, but unfortunately a big red squirrel saw me and had to chime in with a little bit of commentary. More on deer hunting coming up next on Season Chasers. Just before 8 a.m., look what showed up right in front of the box. That was a 25-yard shot with a 30-06 to the neck, and went right down and didn't foul up any of the meat. Really glad to get this one back to the locker. It's the opening morning of the Kansas firearm season, and it's one of those days where it's been really foggy to start out with. As I was looking out over this creek bottom here this morning, it was kind of warm and really foggy. And there was times that I couldn't even see the trees in front of me there for a while. And there were times that rolled in and it rolled out, rolled in, rolled out. At one point, had this guy come in. And it's not the state record, but this isn't about the state record. This is about getting out and having a good hunt. And this one was coming, I think, in toward possibly some mineral that's been left out here for the cattle, and coming right for me. And as you can see, I was able to get a shot right on him, and this went right through the throat, out through the neck, and so we've got a lot of good meat here that we're going to get this guy dressed out to the locker and really get some good stuff for the winter time. But this is all about the white-tailed deer harvest in Kansas, and I'm going to go ahead and film some other people. This is a nice typical 8-point, and going to make some really good eating. Thanks for coming along with us today on Season Chasers. Some people like hunting in the snow. I was able to get mine done in the fog today. It's opening day of the Kansas white-tailed deer season, and this isn't the biggest one I've ever seen, but it was a really nice one. I was able to get it on film as it came in and share this deer hunting moment with you. Been out here a lot during the archery season during the month of November, but now that December's turned in here, we haven't seen quite as many deer per day, but when you got a buck tag, it only takes one to fill it up. And tomorrow morning, even if it snows and gets down to the single digits, I'm going to stay in warm, I think, or I might go hunting with somebody else. You just never know. But we're real glad to get the tag filled on this one, get all the paperwork done, and get it packed out of here. 100% real deer hunting, Southeast Kansas, on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along.
Waka waka.
Tune in each week for some of the stuff you just won't see on other shows. Outdoors, wildlife, and a life of adventure. Being on the lookout for natural foods and making the most of what the wildlife provides. Study, learn, and share the great outdoors with someone who's important to you.